10 people short, but okay, I think let's start. Everyone. Right. Good morning, everybody. So thank you for taking the time, especially all our clients. By the way, this is a closed, basically event. It's by invite only, so it's only specific clients that joins. Also, for all our clients, we have a big part of our team here in one of our offices. So welcome to the team, the local guys. And then also we've got an international audience. We're live streaming this event in our Vaimo group. So no pressure to all the presenters. But guys, yeah, it's Friday. So hopefully this goes quicker than Tuesday. Tuesday, it actually took the full 2 hours. I'm really hoping that we can wax this in maybe an hour and a half. So it's this time of the year again. I'm quite happy to run this webinar a month earlier than last year. Why a month earlier? Because last year we thought there's enough time. We can do this early, mid-October. And towards the end, we scrambled and all of our clients scrambled. So again, lesson learned. But let's kick off. Let's kick off. I think we're all aware what Black Friday is about, what peak retail is about. But a good time of the year just to again establish good ground rules, set the framework, give a bit of the guidelines on where you should be now and what type of mindset you should be in already. Right. So reflecting on last year, typically what we do. Great slide. Just to set the scene for this morning's talk. Just a little screenshot of events, traffic. And this was 23 minutes after midnight last year. So it started 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 15,000, 21,000. And we know what typically happens when this happens. It's very, very similar to a physical store. So you've got 100 people in the store. This is 1,000 people in the store, right? But you only have 3 till points. And you only have 4 consultants on the floor. It's chaos. So this is what today's talk is all about. That we actually manage the best we can when this happens. All of a sudden, 21,000 people trying to check out and or browse the store, and some of them checking out at the same time. Nervous times. Agenda. I'm going to give you a quick guideline as to what you as a business should be considering. Then Derek is going to talk us through technical readiness. I think that is the most important. It's the biggest challenge we have, is for technical readiness. When I say we, not just Vaimo, a client. So let's, for example, say Tanya Leroux at Hi-Fi Corp and Vaimo. This is one of the big challenges we have. Ruan is going to talk us through a lot of learnings on UX. Why not to reinvent the wheel? Black Friday has been running for the last 10 years. You can leverage all the IP and content that is existing. Steph is going to talk us through the marketing side of things. Some guidelines on what to consider, what to audit, what to check, and actually how easy this can be. And then, of course, Carl is going to close off with the reality on the day. How do we work together when you call us 2 minutes past midnight and your promos didn't import for whatever reason, right? And you can't kick off with your promotions. That's the reality of Black Friday. So if we reflect quickly, 2 slides on 2019. Like we normally say, it's one chance mindset. There's no second takes on Black Friday. If you're down for 2, 3, 4 hours, you're going to lose, right? We all understand that a lot of our merchants, because of a tough year, a very disrupted year, are not meeting the revenue targets. So this is the last stab at just trying to reach the targets again. I know for a lot of the merchants, their fiscal year ends December. So come November, it's the last chance to actually make up. So it's critical this year with COVID, that has puts a lot of strain across the board. But on last year, this is our Vaimo economy, Vaimo clients, South Africa, UK, Europe, right? US. Middle East. Just some general numbers, 78% increase on transactions. For transactions, what is a transaction? It's not just an order. It's a payment transaction as well. So typically on paid orders, 70% increase last year, year on year, on average. So Black Friday 2019 versus Black Friday 2018. So Black Friday is big, coming from a high base, exponentially more, 96% more orders. So there's a lot of orders happening, not all paid though. In general, revenue, so revenue 140%. So typically your basket sizes are bigger. The number of items in your basket is a bit higher, hence pushing top line, so boosting the revenue. And this is now a range. If we take our top 50 clients in the Vaimo economy, we are looking on the day between 5,000 orders, which you process, to 43,000 orders, right? So a lot of little boxes to pick and pack and stack and label and address and get it out of the door, right? So guys, what are we saying? Even though 2018 was a high base, 2019 came in with a bang, and 2020 is going to be the same, if not even more severe or better for everybody. Right. Next slide. What makes 2020 special is the COVID-19 effect on business, right? So I already mentioned most of the merchants we work with are behind. We see November as an opportunity to make up on some of the revenue losses. We do understand, right, that also a week leading up to you cutting your promo and making it live, your revenue typically will drop. So if you in October do X, come November leading up to your peak when you run your offering into the market, revenue will definitely drop. Post Cyber Monday, revenue and traffic drop, right? So one chance, 2 hours down, it's not good enough. Every minute basically counts. So this is how the kind of a responsibility we have as Vaimo to work with a client to make sure that we don't lose 1 minute of a small window we have left in the year. But COVID, Adobe did some analysis, and these are some of the insights they shared with us. This is now the US market in the USA, where Adobe Analytics, similar to Alexa, similar to Google Analytics, they have a few tools. They have good market penetration in the US, and in a mature market, right? In a mature market, what they saw during the COVID period, it's basically exponential growth online, traffic and revenue, coming from a high base in a mature market like the USA. In South Africa, all the insights we have, the data we have, based in our South African Vaimo economy, we're looking at minimum 200%, up to 600% increase in traffic and sometimes in revenue as well during April to July. So what does this say? It has set a new benchmark. So when we talk about prepping and establishing, we're trying to estimate what type of volumes, traffic sessions we can expect come now Black Friday. There's a little formula. You need to factor in COVID as well. We'll get to that. But guys, very, very significant piece of information. We have raised the bar significantly. I've read a few articles. E-commerce has been fast-tracked 3 years in terms of new acquisitions. People new to e-commerce for the first time actually placing an order online. So fast-tracking us 3 years, scary stuff. On the tech side, especially, right? So that's quickly on some learnings. Let's go into business readiness. So we are thought leaders. We've got the UX and the technical and the marketing and the support thought leaders that will do their song and dance. I'm coming from you as a business. What should you be considering? What should be brought top of mind? All the awareness, where should it be at the moment? So firstly, you as a business, right? your e-commerce team, your exco, all the forums you have in the business. You must reflect on 2019 learnings, like we do as a business. So every year we prep, we take all the learnings, and we hope we get it right this coming year. It's not always a given, even though we do follow retros and planning. So the more you can invest in 2019 insights, the better chance we have. So many times, I asked one of our clients, how was Black Friday? It was great for top line, right? Then I follow up, what was the best seller? 2019, and they can't answer me. Guys, you need to do your product insights. Absolutely. The simplest of questions you should be able to answer as a business, right? What was the best seller for a business XYZ in 2019? Or at least the top 3 sellers. Everybody should know in the business. If they don't know it, you must bring it top of mind. Basics. Was my offering on point, right? Did I sell out across the range, or was it only 1 or 2 items that did well? So the items that you thought, okay, you bought a lot of, and you had a lot of stock of, and you wanted to actually sell out, but you didn't sell out. You must understand, was my offering on point? So again, work with your digital agencies. They've got all the insights. They've got all the search analysis. You as a retailer as well, you're sitting with great data to understand, is my offering right, right? The important why you should get answers for is, did we scramble? Why did we scramble, right? Why was it that come midnight, all my promotional prices weren't loaded? But we had a detailed plan. There was a detailed plan by the minute, right? So I can think of 4 merchants last year at midnight. The curtain is still up. We can't drop the curtain because we're battling with getting the data right still at 99 in Magento in the back end. And as we now work together preparing these learnings, of course, this time we'll make sure there's at least 1 or 2 dry runs as part of our Black Friday prep. But big merchants, we were battling just to get that special price uploaded into the system. And some of the merchants missed 3 hours after midnight. Still, the curtaining is up, right? Watch the space. We're about to serve you a great offering. Very, very important. Refunds. That gives you all the insights you need from an operational point. Why did we refund? 4 weeks to deliver a parcel or a package or a box, 3 weeks, and we promise it's going to be 10 days, or whatever the case might be. Those refunds will give you a lot of insights as to what broke operation in your business. Right? Wrong picks, wrong size, wrong color, wrong address, wrong office park they delivered to. So all of these things are the reality of Black Friday. Get those insights. What happened? What are the reasons for raising credit notes, refunds? Operational KPIs. I think this is the biggest learning. I've marked this in bold. You need to understand, where is your business breakpoints in the outbound fulfillment chain? How many orders can I realistically pick? Right? How many orders can I realistically package before we're starting to create bottlenecks? How many times will the courier collect? Or if you do your own deliveries, how many vans do we have? How many trips can we do? What is the range? How far do we need to deliver? So all these operational KPIs should be part of your planning. It cannot be underestimated. Last year, we were much better. I must say, we saw big business, big retailers really fulfilling Black Friday in 10 days. Amazing. Then we also had clients in January. I still got a call from a courier. I'm trying to deliver your Black Friday parcel. Where can I find you? Right? So well done to those guys that is really looking into the operational efficiencies and actually putting the KPIs, the benchmarks. If I have 4 guys, I can do 1,000 picks in an 8-hour period. If I've got 10 guys, I cannot. You can't just say I can double it, because there's different operational bottlenecks. It's not just throwing more resource. So you need to think about the whole supply chain, all the operations in your business, Key, guys, keys. Otherwise, again, it's going to take you 3 weeks to get your stuff out. Then it's not good, because then social media is a light, right? It's on fire. Again, where do you find your insights? You look at your credit notes, what went wrong, and you look at social media as to what went wrong. You'll get all the answers, what you need to fix for this year. And luckily, there's enough prep time, right? But more importantly, we must also find the good. What was amazing? What went well? Where did we achieve success? Where did we actually grow and learn from previous Black Fridays? And also just looking at the positives and build on that. So from a business operational readiness, key considerations, steer code discussions, these are the things that needs to be on the agenda topics. Okay. Then now you need to departmentalize. You need a few guys or a few partners, however you do this, to jump in a bit of key metrics. So now we're in planning mode. You need to work with Vaimo. We're going to do the technical audit. We're going to gauge some insights as to how much we can handle. But for us to gauge how much we can handle, we also need some guidance on what do you want to do? What should we be ready for? And these are the basic key metrics. Peak traffic from last year, right? Especially the 10-minute periods, the hourly periods. It's one thing doing 1 million sessions over a May COVID-19 month. So a lot of our merchants said, wow, Kevin, you will not believe it. We did the same traffic in May than last year Black Friday. And I said, well done. And they say, the systems didn't fall over. And I say, fantastic, it's great. Then I say, but just realize this. You did 1 million sessions in May COVID, massive success. We did 1 million sessions on one day. That's the difference, right? So yes, the traffic looks the same as Black Friday. But Black Friday is about that 1 hour or 6 hour peak that is continuous. And then we must get all the people through the door on that one day, as opposed to a month's traffic analysis. So that's the difference on Black Friday. It's that peak. We must understand what is that peak. This is where the wheels come off. Right. So, guys, important. Use typical. So what we're advising to all our clients. You look at the increase in across all the metrics come the COVID period, right? Versus maybe a 2018. And when you you can maybe use that same ratio for Black Friday as well. And so if we did Black Friday last year, we did 100, our COVID increase is maybe 50, 80, 100%. This is more the mindset we should adopt. It's for that absolute worst, because it's a new world for online, for digital. Order analysis. Key metrics to get some good insights, right? How many orders, how many pending payment, how many canceled, how many aborted, and those paid orders, just checking when were they shipped or at least picked, shipped, and then delivered, closing the loop. So those type of analysis, again, will help you with operational readiness. And also that information is key to share with your agencies. So your SIs, like what we need at Vaimo, whomever you're using for marketing, your mailers, all of these things are very, very important. And it's also important for setting your Black Friday targets. So take the same conversion rate as last year, right? So we know exponentially more traffic is going to come. If we can achieve the same conversion rate, fantastic. If we can achieve, right, more paid orders, understand why did we have pending payment, non-paid orders? Was it because of payment gateways, bank surf not working, not a failover payment method, etc., etc. Right. Key metrics, key. Another key component where you should have a breakout forum in your business, proper discussion. And is the catalog, guys, the catalog. So it is so important to get answers and operational procedures and protocol in place for how will I update and adjust prices on the day, update stock, sellouts, load more, new products into the promotional range. So all of these things, it's not your business as usual operations, right? So if I update a product, it goes through all the systems, and maybe 12 hours later, it's live, or sometimes 24 hours. Or promotions are loaded a day in advance. On the day, it's very manual, it's very hands-on. We shortcut a lot of things. That's the reality. We need to shortcut a lot of things. But if you've got the protocol, the procedures in place, we don't do things we shouldn't be doing, right? And your clients get 503s. Worst thing, site not available. Very important, how you're going to handle out of stock or sold out. So typically it's fantastic to have a sold out badge, but there's a bit of technical debt. There's a process behind making sure that when you sell out, that we actually loud and proudly say sold out, instead of just removing the products and not showing out of stock products. Because then the catalog all of a sudden gets tiny very soon, and people think you didn't have an offering. So a lot of the success we want to put out there and not remove sold out products, and we want to badge it nicely. But again, there's process, procedure, and a lot of technical debt that comes with this. We need to be ready. Massive learnings from last year. Then the last point, guys, just by the way, we are sharing the recording, and we're also sharing the whole deck. So I'm skipping a lot of bullets, but this is the readiness slides I'm doing. Those are good topics for you to run in your steercos or in your departmental forums in the business. But the highlighted bullet here, data housekeeping. Yeah. So last year we said, clean your catalog before peak. All the dormant products, all the disabled, all the out of range, which will never come back into the business. Do proper catalog housekeeping. All the old categories, get rid of it. So get the catalog as fresh, as relevant, as new as possible. And all the data which shouldn't be there, get it out. It helps with integrations, it helps with indexing, it helps with a lot of things. And it also helps with finger troubles, and not sitting with a lot of data lying there and which can bite you. Right, very important. We jump into the cart and checkout. Now, as we all know, the cart and the checkout is your toll point in a physical store. We can only get so many people through the toll points. If you have 10 cashiers or 20 cashiers, typically that aisle is still the bottleneck, and we make sure that there's good flow and good continuity. The same with online. We can only get so many people through the checkout at a time. We can throw as much resource at this, but typically in the whole system, we do find bottlenecks. So it's important that a lot of attention goes into optimizing cart and checkout. And how do we do this? Really, firstly, payment methods, important. You should have a failover card processor. So if you use PayU, make sure you have PayGate. If you have Peach, make sure you have PayU. But you should have a backup. And also in your backups, most of the guys are still funneling through BankServe. Try and get something outside of a BankServe ecosystem as well. Very, very good. Simplify the delivery options. So business as usual, we will have overnight, 3 days, and 7 days. And there's a matrix calculation, and based on what I can afford for delivery, I choose my option. Really look into the business and say, can we do overnight? Can we do 3 days? I've not seen a merchant that can achieve that. So if we only have one delivery option, go with that. It helps again with performance, with loading time, and it helps you with actually fulfilling your parcels as you promise on in your checkout. Make sure that there's good messaging in the checkout as well. Manage the expectations as to how long it will actually take for you to get your item. Otherwise, your call centers and your refund ratio is going to be through the roof. We see that every year. Google address search. Big lesson from 2019. Top up your Google accounts with enough credit, because during peak retail, all of a sudden, much more lookups, and all of a sudden your checkout is not working because your Google account is not paid. It doesn't have enough credits. That bites 1 out of 10 merchants every year. Google address search. You pay for every lookup. Make sure somebody tops that up and nurtures that. Important. I'm going to say the second biggest learning from last year. Vouchers, coupons, shopping cart price rules. Especially if you're running cart price rules. Guys, please do thorough housekeeping. Whatever is there and shouldn't be there, you delete it. Don't disable it or leave it disabled, delete it. Try to ensure that only the relevant for peak for Black Friday is defined as a shopping cart price rule, and make sure it's thoroughly tested. Last year, I can think of maybe 7 clients, and the checkout is slow and it's hanging and it's not working. Then we do some debugging, we see, okay, all the sales tables are basically in a lock, and then there's conflicting rules or too many rules, but basically slows down the process. Now you understand the power of a shopping cart price rule. Buy 4 blue, get the red wine for free. Buy 5 sizes of a size 5, and you get a red cap, less 20% discount. So you can go to town with all the logic, but what you must understand, the system must process that logic. And if you have multiple rules, it needs to take your actual cart and runs it through all the conditions. And where there's some clashes or contradiction, the checkout will just hang. It will try to it will be in a loop. So housekeeping, very, very important. Click and collect, you need to rethink. Business as usual, we drive feet in store, we upsell in store. It's a convenient fulfillment method, but okay. But this time, and Ruan will spin on this, a lot of the mass retailers are rethinking Black Friday in the store, in the physical store, bricks and mortar, right? Imagine queues, imagine social distancing, imagine sanitizing, heat guns. Oh, yo. I personally cannot imagine me standing in a queue for 4 hours because I need to sanitize. So you need to rethink click and collect. The last thing we want to do is create more bottleneck and more chaos in your physical stores. Okay, cart checkout, critical. Next slide. The most important slide to run internally for business to really understand how you want to cut Black Friday. There are basically 3 pricing mechanisms. There's more, but the 3 most used pricing mechanisms on Black Friday. We have your typical promo price, was now. So there's a special, there's a normal retail price, and then we have a special price in Magenta, right? And how we style it and what type of UI and UX we serve, it's typically was now. That's our most recommended method to use. Why? It's very fast. Why is it very fast? Because it's indexed. It's preset. So no calculation is needed. We just read it and display it. Very, very easy on the systems. But it's a very simple method, but highly recommended. We can pre-populate all the prices 5 weeks in advance to sense check that. So if you can, please use this option. Then we've got the catalog price rule. This is where we put the whole catalog into some type of was now mode. So you can do it per category, you can do it per attribute set, you can do it across any product segmentation. But be careful. Why? Because a bit more, it's not as fast as just your was now. These days, we are getting it better to do index. So it's pre-index. So again, it's just a read. So that would be the second most recommended way to serve your promotions. It is a bit rigid. You can only do percentages, so a 5% or 10%, and it's difficult to go down to product level. So if you have a selected few products in certain categories only, it's difficult to define that. You normally need to do the whole category, or you need to do the whole attribute set. So a bit of limitations on selective products only. And then, of course, we've got cart rules, shopping cart rules. In your world as a retailer, you typically define this as conditional promos. So you look what's in the basket, and based on certain conditions, you serve a value offering, right? This means the shopping cart and the checkout every time needs to recalculate and run across many rules. It is technically a heavy overload on the system, right? Because we can't index it. It is calculated dynamically with every update. Now imagine 5,000 people doing updates on the checkout in the cart, regardless of what system you run, you will run into troubles. Now, how we bring this back to a physical store, we normally say to our clients, if you have an operation and you have a store supervisor or there's a manager, that every time you want to offer a discount, the cashier will call to the supervisor. They need to put in a special code and approve a discount. The type of bottleneck that creates at your toll points in your checkout aisle, it's exactly what this. It's effectively calling a supervisor to sense check, is the discount correct, and then authorizing that. It creates the same bottleneck digitally for us. Okay, so the benefit of a cart rule, of course, is you can get much better insights with your campaigns and the success of your campaigns via giving coupons. So there's a lot of merchants that will say, okay, we'll create a coupon for outdoor, and we'll create a coupon maybe for automotive cleaning parts, and we'll create, and now you can actually measure firstly the acquisition, but also the conversion on that. So there is lots of benefit. I don't know. Guys, what are you guys seeing on your screen?
Technical readiness.
Technical readiness.
Okay, so we one slide it. Okay, but let me close off. I'm actually 7 minutes over my little time slot. But to close off, guys, the very, very critical consideration. Are you going to use cart rules? Are you going to run coupons? Are you going to run vouchers? If so, it is of critical importance that we engage, that we sense check a few things, and that we make sure that from a infrastructure point of view, we are well spec'd. So that's me. Next up is Derek on the technical sides. So guys, all of these points, take it into your forums and feel free to engage further. There's going to be some further engagement points, but Derek, all yours.
Thank you, Kevin.
Guys, just give us a moment. Just give us a moment. Okay. It was Johan. Okay. Okay. Great.
All right. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Not that loud.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Kevin, thank you for that. I'm Derek. I'm the technical manager here for the Vaimo South African branch. And every year come Black Friday, what we try to do is prepare you for Black Friday from a technical side of things. Now, what we like to refer to as technical readiness, but it's basically an offering that we have to make sure that you are ready or as possible to handle the amounts of traffic that we can expect on Black Friday. And we like to do that by offering two types of packages. Next slide, please. That this here we are basically referring to as the commercial package and the enterprise package. So those of you who have gone through a Black Friday with us before, what we're trying to achieve is to do a little bit of infrastructure audit, a front-end audit, a little bit of a back-end audit, which looks at your code. And this year, as part of the enterprise package, we would also like to make sure that from a security point that you are ready for Black Friday. When we think of technical and Black Friday, everybody focuses on how many sessions can my infrastructure handle? What is the concurrency? How many people can I push through checkout? How many orders can I place? And taking all the learnings from last year, Black Friday 2019, a key aspect that we are very quick to overlook is the security of the site. And what we found last year is that, and to date, an increase in malicious activity that is happening on all our client sites. If it's not illicit crawlers or content scrapers, it is bots that have not been approved, or more and more unknown bots that are popping up all over the show that is literally killing your site by trying to scrape your content. Or it could be countries like Hong Kong or Russia, or not local to South Africa where your site's hosted, that is trying to bring down your site by hitting a filter or a content page over and over and over to basically be malicious. And I'll dive a little bit deeper into those two packages shortly. But as part of the offering and as part of Black Friday 2020 readiness, we would also like to make sure that you're from a security point, that you are ready to handle amounts of traffic. Next slide, please. So basically, when it comes to the infrastructure audit, we are trying to achieve the following. We would like to know more or less, where do your site fall over? And based on that, gauge the maximum active sessions before breaking point. Now, we are all familiar with the more people comes in, at some point, the infrastructure is going to say, no, we cannot let more people in unless the people who's already in are leaving or have completed their transactions. So from a hardware point, what we're trying to achieve is, will more hardware actually improve performance? Or have we reached a point where the application is the bottleneck? And by doing the audit to determine where can we actually improve or optimize the application to further increase where the breaking point is. And as part of the technical audit, this is a key metric that we focus on as well. For instance, your caches. Can you confirm, or do we know that your caches are set up correctly and that they are working as expected? As an example, just taking a learning from Black Friday 2019, a simple thing like having tracking codes in a banner on the front end could seriously damage your cache, and it could potentially bring your site down. Things like that to just keep top of mind when adding banners or links to make sure that your caches are protected. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at the two new offerings that we have for Black Friday 2020. The first one is our front-end security audit. So what we are trying to achieve here is to make sure that from a security point, that you are also ready to handle the amounts of traffic that comes in. So we do all the usual checks, make sure your SSL is valid, make sure that you don't have any open holes or any vulnerabilities currently on your site. We also do a little bit of a scan to make sure that all the known vulnerabilities we are covered again, that your TLS versions are correct. We make sure that the security best practices are followed, that all your forms, any input, even as simple as a newsletter, conforms to form keys and CSRF protection, so that come Black Friday, somebody cannot bring down your site because there was a vulnerability exposed or anything that allowed them to basically be malicious against your site to bring it down. We need to make sure that all the resources and all your available capacity is served to your customers trying to check out on Black Friday. Next slide, please. As part of the offering, we would also like, from all the learnings we've taken last year, to basically preemptively protect you against other malicious traffic coming from other countries. Now, what that basically means is during Black Friday, it doesn't make sense to leave your site open for other countries if you're only going to sell to the local market. So what we potentially can do is block all other countries and only allow South Africa to check out, basically making sure that all your resources, again, only goes to your customer base that you are trying to serve. With this, what we can do is block countries. We can filter out any bots that should not be there. We stop malicious crawlers. We've got a whole list that we've amassed over the years of bad IPs and IP ranges across the globe to make sure that they don't interfere with your Black Friday promotions, and harden your OWASP and web application firewall rules. Now, these are typically setups that you don't run on, let's say, day-to-day. But during Black Friday, we really fine-tune those rules to make sure that everything is only catered for Black Friday. After the event, they switch back to your day-to-day business. Okay, next slide, please. Then just on technical readiness, a couple of do's and don'ts. I'm not going to read through all of this. As Kevin mentioned earlier, you guys will receive a copy of this presentation as well as all these slides. But there are a couple of items that I would just like to bring top of mind when it comes to do's and don'ts. Of course, very important, and I think you guys have heard this, at least on a daily basis, you need to protect your cache. So what does that mean? We don't want to flush caches during the event of Black Friday. Now, typically things that flush caches are full reindexes. If you change content, if you run integrations, if you make any big changes to your catalog or categories, that will typically then kick off a cache. So we need to make sure that we are prepared in advance to prevent unnecessary cache flushes. Trying to rebuild the cache while trying to serve 10,000 people at the same time is a very big no. And that is guaranteed to bring your site down. Then, of course, just a couple of things. Make sure that any system that is not critical or part of your Black Friday promotion or event, that is turned off. If you don't need it, don't run it. Of course, filters on listing pages. When your customers enter your site, they are there for one thing and one thing only, to buy products at a very discounted price. They are not going to spend time filtering, and that is just going to add unnecessary load to your site and your database. So make sure that your pages are category specific and that you don't require filters for your customers to get to your Black Friday specials. And next slide, please. As Kevin mentioned earlier, your product rules is very, very important. We need to ensure that you use the most optimal, the fastest, and the most sustainable method of running your Black Friday specials. So if it's not needed, don't run it. Don't use it. Another item I would just like to highlight is ensure that your site is behind a CDN. If you are not on Cloudflare yet, or if you have any technical challenges or difficulties to get Cloudflare in front of your website, it could be DNS related or your domain host related that is preventing you from getting Cloudflare up and running. Let's have a session. Let's see what we can do, and potentially a couple of suggestions where we can get you behind Cloudflare to not only act as your CDN, but also as your web application firewall. So I'm open. Please contact me if you have any challenges, and we can get that set up, or at least find a route that will allow you to run Black Friday behind Cloudflare. So, and images, you need to make sure that your images are as optimized as possible. Just a little bit of a technical explanation as to why. Every time an image needs to be served from the server, a connection is reserved to do that. The bigger an image is, the longer that connection stays open. Every open connection is a slot that is not available for another customer. The smaller the image is, the quicker that connection opens back up, which means that the more connections you have available to serve other customers quickly through Black Friday. Of course, just another thing, just on widgets quickly. Dynamic widgets are a wonderful thing in Magento. They can create the most amazing pages. They can serve you the most amazing content if done correctly. You could also have a widget that selects your entire catalog and tries to display it on a single page. And that is going to bring your site down. So please make sure that widgets are disabled during Black Friday. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't need to have dynamic content when serving Black Friday specials. Okay, next slide, please. And just something I would like to end off with, page load versus conversion. Now, Cloudflare has recently done a study where they've determined the page load time versus the conversion rates. So they've basically established that 47% of your customers expect every page to be finished loading and ready and usable in 2 seconds or less. Now that sounds like a pipe dream. It sounds physically impossible. But during Black Friday, a couple of things that we really need to keep top of mind is that we need to remove what is not needed. Just basically coming back to what I've mentioned earlier is your customers are not there to be impressed by a pretty site or a site that is filled with a lot of banners and nice flashy content. They are there to get the product as quickly through checkout as possible. Now, with that said, remove what is not needed and make sure that your pages are small and fast. And then, of course, a very big principle that you need to keep in mind for Black Friday is YACNI, which basically means you ain't gonna need it. Now, even though, and this is where Ruan probably hates me, but even though we expect your pages to be as small as possible and to only contain what is required, you can still promote Black Friday effectively. And that is where Ruan is going to touch on next and just give you guys an idea of how you can keep your pages small and fast, but still be very effective with your UX. Okay, thank you. Ruan, over to you.
Just put that on.
Derek, I'm just going to do a quick sound test with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm not talking to everybody in the audience here. You know me. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ruan. I am heading up the UX department here at Vaimo. And it's actually good that Derek mentioned
kind of the topic about hating him. I don't hate you, Derek. Don't worry about it. If I were maybe a user interface designer, I would hate you. But a user experience designer also considers performance. So this is my goal here, is that we really kind of just touch on some of the topics we need to consider for Black Friday this year. So Steph, you can just go into the first slide for me, please. So basically, I want to achieve 3 things today. I want to inform you about 3 particular topics. The first one being the CX or UX purchase journey review. Now, what is this? This is really where we look at your core user journey. So starting from your homepage into your framework header, search with your menu, all the way through to product listing pages, detail pages, and ultimately checkout. So what do we aim to do with this particular offering? We want to review the site for performance instability. So obviously we want to really look at gaining or getting to those goals that Derek has just pointed out for us. We also want to identify maybe some UX flaws, and I'll dig into a couple of those topics now. But really, I don't want to spill the beans for everything we're going to go through. There's about 100 topics that we will go through in this journey review. So maybe let's just look at a couple of topics there. So Steph, you can go to the next slide. So firstly, if we start at the homepage, a couple of quick elements that we can look at here. So you will remember from last year's presentation and last year's webinar that we mentioned the homepage is trying to obviously keep them as small as possible, but not just that, we wanted to create these landing pages that work as entry points into your catalog. So I think Derek mentioned it earlier, trying to kind of avoid filters. That's part and parcel of this topic that I'm referring to now. We want to define the scope for users. What do I mean with that? Let's on the homepage already cluster some products in a predefined scope, saying I want all the 500 Rand and down products in one little section, all the gifts for men, gifts for ladies. We want to segment the offering, or your offering at least, on the homepage, so that when a user clicks that item, they get to a pre-cached page that is going to perform well. And then obviously they don't need to get stuck in all the filtering and elements on the left-hand side on our listing pages. So that's just one little topic for consideration, but I think you can understand where we're coming from. I think one bigger item you'll probably get a lot of resistance from me at least is going to be carousels on the day. So if you are considering having a carousel above the fold with all of your promotions just kind of scrolling around on the page, I can share the data for you to show you how ineffective they really are. Now, I know some of you are selling that space at the top. Let's talk about it at least, so we can find out what's going to be the good compromise for the day. Next slide, please, Steph. Then next page, obviously in the user journey, is our product listing pages. And Derek has already touched on filtering. Now here, if I have to summarize everything on that slide, is it's really about trying to get the user off of this page, maybe even adding to cart on this page, getting them directly to checkout, thus shortening our journey by skipping the product detail page. So that's one tactic to do here. But the other tactic really here is getting rid of all the elements that keep the user on this, that keeps the user on this page. Things like filtering, things like quick view, the infinite scrolling. We want to get users off of this page as quickly as possible. And on the topic of infinite scrolling, a little bit of a technical note there. We ultimately want to get away from these on-page scripts running. Derek mentioned this. One of our clients last year had on their homepage banner, they had a Google tracking link on the homepage banner that took them to a listing page, a normal listing page. But because the URL had the parameter for the Google tracking code in there, that URL is a dynamic URL, so it can't be cached. So it completely destroyed the landing page or the listing page experience. So we really want to try and avoid keeping the user on this page. We want them to add to cart and get off of this page, thus removing our filters if possible, removing our sorting if possible, and definitely removing our infinite scrolling. Next slide, please, Steph. So again, just to re-emphasize, I'm really not digging into the real meat here, just highlighting some topics over here. But on the PDP, on the product detail page, exactly the same thing here. We really want to look at stripping out all the unnecessary elements, and then emphasizing features like the add to cart button, like the price. We want the user to see the offering and actually be able to add it to cart. Even consider removing configurable products on Black Friday. It's again that concept of not having the user stay on the page for too long. We want to get them in and get them out. Kevin's reference earlier from a checkout aisle is very relevant here. We want to get them in and we want to get them out. The flow needs to be consistent. Then the next slide on this one, please, Steph, is then of course our dreaded checkout page. So firstly, I just want to kind of mention something here, that we've written up quite a lot of articles on the Vaimo blog. You can find it on the Vaimo.com site, or if you click on the news tab, there's a whole lot of articles there about checkout. So I would definitely encourage you all to go look up at least some of the 2020 articles that have been released there. Also, a lot of content being released from our marketing department to look at. So you all should have received that already if you're newsletter subscribers, but it's just a quick highlight there. Now, that number over there from Vaimo Institute says that 69% of users abandon their shopping cart once they've already added something to cart. Now, this is obviously a global problem, Vaimo being in the US and also tracking some European clients. Now, how do we get around it? I mean, there's no real easy answer here, because the checkout is a tricky piece of code to work on. Again, I would simply put it down to, let's remove all the unnecessary elements, emphasize the required elements like guest checkout. If you're not doing guest checkout yet, let's talk about it so that we can get guest checkout enabled for that in and out, that flow going through the customer journey. Also, simple things like styling our place order button. This could have such a massive effect on the day, just emphasizing that place order button. And lastly, Kevin also mentioned something earlier on about delivery methods. And I would really encourage you that you only have one delivery method for the day. But if you have an express or a standard delivery method, make sure that the cheapest one is pre-selected. It's a simple click that you're taking away from the customer. And I think in that way, we just can also streamline the experience. The users are there in the first place for promotional shopping. So paying the higher delivery fee is unlikely at the very least. So that's something to consider. Okay, Steph, next slide. So that was my first point. My first point I wanted to share with you, the offering from the UX department being a purchase journey review. The second offering from our side is design and content services. So we showcased this last year as well, but this is where we really want to assist you. Not all of you have internal design services or in-house design services, nor do you have third-party marketing agencies that are helping you. We are not saying that we don't want to partner with those third-party marketing agencies. We've done so very successfully, and you might know it. So really what we are saying is we also have the offering on our side, creating content. We've got a lot of pre-made content already that we can share. We've got the content builders in-house that can assist with actually building these pages. And I think it's an important note to make here that do you need those banners? Do you need those blocks, the static blocks and elements designed? Please get hold of me and get into contact with me so that we can discuss your design and content services. Next slide, please, Steph. Okay, then this is a little bit of this is not something you need to necessarily remember, but you need to think about it. So COVID-19 impact, you can see on this little GIF there that there's not a lot of social distancing happening right there. So you can just go to the next one, please. And I think this is why big retailers like Walmart have decided they are closing their stores for Black Friday this year. Now, this is very significant. When we did this webinar on Tuesday, I said I didn't know what Mr. Ramaphosa is going to say. Now I know what he said. We are in level 1. Well, not yet, almost. But the point being, we don't know what's going to happen on the 27th of November. Could there be the case that the stores are going to be closed? We need to think about it now. This will have a massive impact on the load of your site, because all those users in all likelihood are going to go to your online store. So really keep that in mind. If Walmart is doing this, which in a very real sense, they kicked off the Black Friday revolution. They are closing their doors. What's the kind of chance that you're going to close it as well? So really think about this topic. Next one, please. This is really the third point I wanted to showcase for you. So the Black Friday checklist and questionnaire, you should have all received that questionnaire by now. If not, there will definitely be one today in your inbox. And then also please visit our blog, as I mentioned earlier, search for Black Friday 2020 checklist. There's a very detailed checklist for you. This is not like us being a taskmaster or anything. We are just trying to assist you, seeing what are the next topics on your agenda, what should you be looking at, where should you be in the timeline at this stage. So please go on there, subscribe, download this. It's a free offering, so please just think about that checklist. You can go to the next one, please, Steph. So what does this look like in terms of timelines? And this is very important. I need everybody to understand this slide. Specifically, we are in the webinar phase now. It's that first slot on the left-hand side. Questionnaires is the second one. Now, the next 3 lines are critical for us to understand. The third one from the top there tells us about these purchase journey reviews. We can run those purchase journey reviews all the way up until middle October, but nothing later. Why? Because we still need to implement the recommendations. So please keep that in mind. If this is something you're considering, please get into contact with me as soon as possible so that we can schedule this into my department and we can get all of those recommendations out and into the implementation cycle by mid-October latest. So that's a very, very important note. The other slide right at the bottom is design and content services. This is a little bit more flexible, although please don't keep us on a line towards the end or the beginning of November, because then it's going to go into a first come, first serve mode, and we are going to assist the clients that kind of joined up earlier. So please take note of this slide, that there's not a lot of weeks left. I'm sure I counted like 11 weeks there. I'm not 100% sure, but there's about 11 weeks left. So please take a big red note of this specific slide. Next one, please, Steph. This is just a summary slide. You can click all 3 times. So if it was a little bit too long, or you didn't listen, or you were watching a YouTube video while you were listening to this webinar, this is the important one for you to remember. Purchase journey review, design and content services, Black Friday checklist, and questionnaire. These are the 3 offerings from my department this year. Get into contact with me to discuss getting these things done. And then the last slide, Steph, is enjoy the madness. Okay. Good. Next is Steph. I think you need to take this one, Steph.
Terry, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the time this morning. I'm going to be talking to you about a little bit of SEO, SEM, consulting, so digital marketing in general. It is becoming a little bit wider, and things that were abandoned are becoming more popular, and we're really looking forward to introducing some interesting elements for you for your Black Friday. Just next slide. So SEO audit, hygiene factors that we need to take care of with regards to Black Friday build-up. This does not just constitute products, it constitutes everything on the website. So we'd really like to make sure that those landing pages that are created for Black Friday, those PLPs, CLPs, everything that's created for Black Friday is SEO optimized, and that we adhere to best practices to basically benefit you and your team. Next slide, Ron. Right, so we do have a new offering that is new to Vaimo. We've expanded the consulting team to look at things like paid media marketing. Now, paid media marketing, what we're looking at specifically here is shopping, Google Shopping, search, and display ads. Now, these are avenues where we'd really like to also start helping our Vaimo clients. Now, what we want to do is we want to make sure that your Google Shopping feeds are optimized. So in that sense, we're going to do an analysis, create an execution plan, and basically come to a little bit of consulting with you on the build up to Black Friday. What we'd also like to do in terms of display and search ads is to look at how you've set them up, effectively auditing there, looking at what the segmentation is, what the spend is, how the bidding works, looking at ad campaigns, and then the ad groups and ads that follow within those things. So once again, a consultation session that we'd like to arrange with every one of our clients to make sure that we have their best interests at heart and making sure that their spend is going to yield the biggest ROI. Digital merchandising. I'm sure that I have probably bored everyone to death with my my song and dance on on-site search, it is absolutely imperative for you guys to really make use of this. And we have introduced a tool, Clevu, to most of you. And this is where we really want to start using that tool, optimizing the tool, making sure that we're looking at synonyms for zero search results. We'd like to use synonyms over and above redirects because it just makes more sense and it kind of binds the user journey. So obviously user journey wise, we're working a lot with Ruan, and from a performance wise section, we're working with Derek. So all of these things kind of mush mash into our department as well. And we make the best of all these things and kind of, oops, almost right. Further to that, we'd really like to look at things like automation, taking the burden off of you and looking at automating certain things. This would be like marketing automation journeys that are linked to emails that's going out to re-encourage people to come back and finish that purchase from abandoned cart. One of the biggest things that we want to focus on. And then recommendation engines. Let's focus on getting the recommendation engine working for you and actually making those recommendations through merchandising machine learning. Next slide, please. Right, the acquisition strategy workshop. These are workshops specifically to understand what you are doing. What are you preparing? What are you planning? How far back are we starting? What should we start when? All of these things start playing a factor with regards to what services we're going to roll out for you, whether it's audit, paid media, digital merchandising, all of those things need to be ascertained. And this is where we want to have that acquisition strategy workshop so that we can understand what you're going to do, how you are going to acquire your customer base, and then obviously consult on what you can use from our tool set, from your tool set to really make a difference. Next one, please. Right, some basic considerations. Obviously, your things need to be as mean and lean as possible. So all tags, lean. Feeds must be perfectly optimized and lean. Email marketing through MailChimp, Mailer, Klaviyo, the last one, please. We're going to use. Yeah, we're going to use .digital as well. Remarketing, definitely one of those important things, but the scripts must be lean. Next one, Ruan. So, like Ruan said, we're working on a tight timeline. We have limited resources in terms of the consulting department, and we'd love to consult to all of you, but we need to start early. The earlier we start, the earlier we can make the recommendations, and the earlier we can do the actual implementation. So I'd like to implore you all to get in touch with me from the consulting department, or with Nick, or with any of your PMs, just to start the process off. And we need to kick off, like I said, as soon as possible. Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Carl. He's going to touch on the support services for building up to Black Friday and on the day.
Hi everyone. So my name is Carl. For those of you who know me, welcome, and for those of you who don't know me, it's pleased to meet you. Hopefully somewhere during Black Friday, I'll be speaking to you. So I'm going to touch on, you can go to the next slide. I'm going to touch on Black Friday support. Now, Derek has prepped you technically. You're ready. The site will handle the load. The code is clean. It's beautiful. Ruan has created all these nice designs. The journey is perfect. The marketing went out and we gave loads of guidelines. We've prepped for 2 to 3 months and we know how this works. Things goes wrong. It's like you get up the morning, you want to go to work. It's load shedding. You can't, blow dryer is not working. You can't have coffee. It's just wrong. You need to get ready, but you can't, and you need help. You need someone to support you. So for Black Friday, this is what we want to achieve. We want to be there to help you when things goes wrong. We want to assist you. We want to support you. So we really have a goal here. We want to give you a passport to pick up the phone, to call anyone at any time. We want to give you access to dedicated Black Friday resources so that we can help you as quick as possible. And we want to give you a commitment that we will be online and available to assist you, because small things might happen. You need to pull the trigger on that landing page or category and you've just locked yourself out of admin. You are the delay, we're there to help you. Next slide, please. So how do we achieve this? So we've created a Black Friday package that you can decide to opt in for. And what does the box look like? What does this package look like? What is in the box? So typically it will be about 6 tickets of half an hour each, which you send to us, and we'll manage it through the channels. And I'll explain a little bit more about the channels just now. And no, we're not going to limit you on 6 tickets. You can run over. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. And we want to make sure you reach your Black Friday goals, because then we also get that satisfaction of we've helped you. We've made a success as a team. Then yes, these tickets will include technical and developer support. So depending on the nature of the ticket, it will go into certain channels, and then there will be dedicated support channels, and I'll touch on the communication and all of that just in the next slide. And we want to give you a dedicated support person or point of contact. This is not going to be a call center where you phone, please hold, I'll put you through to the next available Black Friday support specialist. It's not going to be something like that. It's a dedicated person. You mostly know them by name, and yes, they'll be available after hours to help you. Next slide, please. So just a little bit on the communication. So normally during Black Friday, we have these Slack channels that we set up, and yes, we're going to use it for the conventional steps, pulling the triggers on certain items at certain times, but the channels will also be there for support. And across these channels, we'll have gatekeepers, and I'll touch on gatekeepers just now. And like I said, phone support. So Black Friday just kicked off. Everything is running smooth. Might have been a few bumps, but 2 o'clock hits, sales are running in, and we decide we're going to hit the pillow just for half an hour. We're going to close our eyes. 5 minutes past 3, something goes wrong. You pick up the phone, you call us, we're there to support you, and we jump on the channels, get everything ready, and push this item into the correct team. Next slide, please. So why do we need the support? It's fast lane support. It's not the conventional support channels. It has to be quicker. Why? We've been prepping for 2 months. We cannot afford incorrect decisions, delayed support. Everything needs to happen super fast because time is of the essence, and we need to have critical thinking, low impact, best results. You'll have access to dedicated Black Friday support teams. And so why does that make a difference? Because Black Friday items take priority. Everything in that period of November, from the kickoff up until the end of Cyber Monday, it's support all over, and we're there to help you. And then, like I said, you can phone at any time. It gives you that little passport to say, o'clock in the morning, but we need this resolved. And then critical decision support. So next slide, please. I'm going to touch quickly on that. What is critical decision support? So this is a big day. And like I said, we've been prepping for 2 to 3 months to get this ready. Now, when stress hits, sometimes we make incorrect decisions because we want to go too fast. We want to solve it now. So just focus on that last block with the little light bulb and the robot. That is our think tank. So within Vaimo, we've got senior resources, and these guys have seen multiple Black Fridays. They've served multiple clients, and they've seen thousands of different things go wrong on the day. And they are ready. They sit in a room and they're ready to take your item and provide critical feedback with the lowest impact on the day. So how does this flow work? So if you look at that diagram, the shops, the little stores there, that's our clients, that's you guys. Then, like I said, we've got our Slack channels into the teams, which will be the working items to get Black Friday live. It's the pages, it's the technical, it's the banners. Then we've got that little block, which is the filter. Those are our gatekeepers. Now, the big thing here is sometimes you want to do a small action. Can I quickly do this? But you do not understand the impact of that item. Something as simple as just going to save this category, kicks off indexing, now chaos. So what does the gatekeepers do? They constantly spot these items to identify, listen, it sounds small, it's high impact, and they push that into the think center. The think center typically comes back with, yes, we've got a green light, the servers are idling, everything is going smooth. Yellow, listen, this is a bit risky. Red, we need to stop, we need to fix, we need to make a change. And that is kind of our process for Black Friday. We'll be running with this Black Friday package. Next slide. Thank you. I'm the last presenter, so best for last. And we're going to go into question and answers just now. So we're going to run 2 processes, and you guys can decide how you want to do it. You can either unmute and speak to us and ask your question, or you can hit the chat icon down at the bottom of Zoom, and you can just type it, and Ruan here will just read the question, and we will answer based on the questions. Derek, sound check.
A bit soft, Kevin. Just talk again.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, perfect.
Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, thank you, Carl and Ruan and Steph and Derek. Very valuable insights and great content. Thank you. Well done. Right, guys. Fantastic. We have 40 minutes left. Of course, we're not going to hang around for 40 minutes, but let's take maybe 3, maybe 5 minutes. Any questions, either via chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Otherwise, we can just close off and I'll conclude for us.
There was one question from Dean who said they signed clearly recently. They wanted to just make sure that it is on before Black Friday.
Dean,
yes.
Dean, consider that done and done.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Stefan.
Yeah.
I just wanted, just before, I know before Black Friday, but kind of, can we work it somewhere in the middle of October at least?
Okay, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then anybody from internal, Vaimo International? Any questions? Great. So guys, in conclusion, you as a business need to get together, cut a plan, get all the learnings from last year. That's the first point. Then a good way to run this meeting, take a questionnaire that was circulated yesterday. That questionnaire is asking all the right questions. Use that as a basis for your internal kickoff. Call it internal kickoff, right? The technical audits, it is very important. Part of our technical audits, we're going to look for the usual suspects as well. No need to reinvent the wheel. Do the journey optimization and take the UI kit from Ruan. Same with Steph. Let's optimize those Google feeds, all those campaigns. Let's groom it nicely. Happy to assist. And then we will engage further on leading up to Black Friday, all the support and further protocols on how that will actually run prior, on the day, and of course, just sweeping afterwards. So I thank you for your time and have a great weekend.
Thank you for